Benediction's Ravage of Empires album cover paints an apocalyptic scene, setting a fittingly sinister tone for the music within. This latest release, released on 4th of April 2025 via Nuclear Blast, sees the British death metal veterans doubling down on what they do best: no thrills, old school death metal. The production is punchy and clear, allowing the crushing riffs and pummeling drums to hit with full force without sounding muddy. Lyrically, the album lives up to its menacing style. Songs about war, death and darkness gives Ravage of Empires a notably sinister streak that many fans of gruesome themes will fucking appreciate. Long-term vocalist Dave Ingram delivers a formidable roar throughout, though his approach may divide some listeners, including me. It's powerful, nasty, yet not always the deep traditional death growl some might expect. Ingram's mid-range bark is understandable and intense, but over an entire album it can start to feel a bit one note. Overall, Ravage of Empires makes a strong first impression with its high-octane brutality and dark atmosphere. Let's dive into some key tracks and the moments that defines the album's tenacious spirit. So, a carrion harvest right out of the gate. Ravage of Empires explodes with a carrion harvest, a fast-paced ripper that sets the album's tone with savage confidence. There's no gentle intro here. The main riff immediately punches you in the fucking face, accompanied by what sounds like an evil cackle and Ingram's ominous vocals. The chorus even warns, "Brace for impact," or "be blown away," which feels like a mission statement for the whole record. Indeed, this opening track is all about impact, blistering speed, tight thrashing guitar work, and drums blasting away under a layer of dark, morbid melody. Ingrid's vocals are on point here, deep enough to sound menacing and full of aggression, riding the up-tempo riffing with authority. The production shines, letting the guitars and drums cut through cleanly as the song barrels along. By the time A Carrion Harvest ends in just about 3 minutes, you're left adrenalized and primed for more chaos, which is exactly what a great opener should do. It's no surprise the band chose this track for a lyric video on release day as well. It's an immediate headbanger to grab your attention, and it doesn't let go. Another track we're talking about, Beyond the Veil of the Grey Mare. Following that furious opener, Beyond the Veil of the Grey Mare keeps the momentum going while adding its own sinister flair. This track stretches out a bit longer, allowing Benediction to play with dynamics. It starts with roaring vocals and sick riffs that continue the album's all-out assault. Partway through, the band locks into an endless double bass barrage as the guitars shift into pummeling tremolo riff, a classic death metal move that feels absolutely fucking massive here. It's a technically simple section, essentially straightforward tremolo picked, patterned over blast beats, but damn if it doesn't hit hard as it's really great in like its own simplicity. You can easily imagine a huge mosh pit breaking out when this mid-song breakdown kicks in live. The atmosphere is dark and relentless, with the guitars creating an almost horror movie vibe over the thundering drums. Vocally, Ingram continues to bark with ferocity, and while he doesn't vary his tone much, his sustained fury carries the song. The slight shift in tempo and the song's longer runtime help pace the album, giving you like a brutal but structured experience after the whiplash of the opener. Beyond the Veil proves that Benediction can maintain intensity over 5 minutes without losing the plot. It's equal parts crushing and catchy, and it helps establish the album's unyielding atmosphere early on. One song that really surprised me was about midway point is Engines of War, a 3-minute blast of adrenaline that was fittingly released as the album's first single. This song is a no-nonsense onslaught. The band wastes no time launching in a brutal chugging riff that drives the track at high speeds. In many ways, Engines of War follows the same winning formula as the first couple of tracks: a tight, heavy riff backbone, a simple but effective song structure, and pounding drums that give it an almost militant rhythm. There's a brief bridge where the guitars get a bit of a groove going and the drumming shows some thoughtful touches amidst the chaos, but overall the track sticks to the straightforward brutality. Ingrid's vocal delivery here is forceful and emphatic. He sounds like a drill sergeant growling fucking commands, which suits the war-themed lyrics well. However, by this point in the album, some of you might notice, and I'd certainly notice, the vocals started to blend a little together with earlier tracks. The tone is still vicious, but not different from what we've already heard earlier. That said, Engines of War is built for headbanging. It's this kind of song you instinctively start a pit to short, fast, and thrashing with a chorus riff that practically demands you to stomp around. As a lead single, it was a smart choice. It encapsulates Benediction's old school death metal approach in an easily digestible dose, and its great delivery shows the band's firing on all cylinders.
Abusive flesh has walked in dark, stroking the abyss. Infernal to be taken slow, a flame to set up.
One song I really loved was the finale of Perpetuation. Now we come to one of the album's heaviest and most malevolent moments. This song finds Benediction pushing the sound to an extreme, upping the malice and weight to near breaking point. Riffs on this track hit like a jackhammer. There's a slight Slay-esque vibe on this to some of the riffing here, a whiff of that chaotic thrash influence woven into the death metal framework. The result is utterly crushing. The guitars and bass lock into that menacing groove that feels oppressive in a very good fucking way, while drummer Giovanni Durst unleashes some of the most intense double kick patterns on the album. Ingram meets the onslaught with one of his strongest performances. He basically spits out the lyrics in seething bursts, sounding legitimately pissed off. Even if his range is limited, his raw aggression sells the song's dark mood completely. The production on this song is especially satisfying. Every palm-muted chord and snare hit lands with clarity and heft. So when the band collectively slams on a downbeat, you feel it. This track is a late album highlight that injects a surge of ferocity just when it's needed. It's impressive how Benediction managed to find an even nastier gear on the back half of the record. The finale of Perpetuation, it's a mouthful to say, is a point where riff brutality peaks, making the standout that you will likely point to as a high mark of the album. Then we go to some really crushing, slow, stomping, and absolutely bone-crushing song, Crawling Over Corpses. Is the sound of Benediction dragging you through a battlefield of the dead. Unpleasant imagery, sure, but the music totally fits that vibe. Released as a second single ahead of the album, this track shows a slightly different side of Ravage of Empires. Instead of all-out speed, Crawling Over Corpses operates at a more measured mid-tempo built on groovy, heavy riffs that crunch and crawl as the title implies. The band makes excellent use of pauses and slowdowns in this song. They'll crank out a pummeling riff, then suddenly drop into like a halftime fill or insert a momentary stop, which really raises the impact when the full force kicks back in. That push-pull dynamic gives Crawling Over Corpses a grim head-nodding groove that stands out after so many breakneck tracks. Ingram's vocals here take on a slightly more menacing drawl at times, which is a nice change. This is one of my favorite songs off the album. He still primarily sticks to his ferocious spark, but the slower tempo lets him elongate some phrases, almost a deathly snarl that adds to the song's creepy atmosphere. The chorus, if you can call it that, is basically just a monstrous riff drop, no sing-along refrain, just pure riff-driven punishment. It's simple but effective, showing that Benediction can write engaging, heavy songs even without speed. This song is placed towards the latter half of the album. Crawling Over Corpses also helps with pacing, giving you a breather from the blast beats while still keeping things heavy as fucking hell. By the end of its 4+ minutes, you feel like you've been trudged through something dark and powerful, and indeed this track is one of the album's most impressive for its sheer weight.
Ravage of Empires.
And we got songs like closing out the album is the epic title track, Ravage of Empires, which serves as a summary of everything Benediction set out to do on this record. If the previous 10 songs are chapters of a war-torn saga, this finale is the climactic battle where all the elements fucking collide. The track opens with a foreboding riff, building intense atmosphere before launching into a mix of blast beat, fury, and neck-snapping grooves. There's a strong sense that the band threw in all their tricks here. We get frantic fast sections, chunky mid-tempo breakdowns, a few sly melodic hooks buried in the guitar work, and an overall feeling of a dark grandeur throughout this fucking song. This is fantastic. It's everything we've heard on the album, basically. A hellish stew, a hellish concoction of all the sounds we've heard. Components mixed just the right proportions. Ravage of Empires hits hard, but also feels a tad more epic. The riffs have a marching anthemic quality at times, and there's a brief, eerie guitar lead that adds atmosphere before the final crush. Ingram sounds as vicious as ever fucking before, though by this final track, you might sense a bit of fatigue in his delivery in my opinion, or maybe that's just my ears after so much fucking bludgeoning. Still, he carries the song to its conclusion with passion, belting out the last lines over a backdrop of dive-bombing guitar noises and double kick devastation. As the album fades out, or rather ends in the explosion of noise, you're left feeling satisfyingly pummeled. Ravage of Empires is a strong finish, it really is. It encapsulates the album's strengths and ensures the record ends on a high note. It's a kind of track that makes you want to immediately hit rewind. And experience that carnage all over again. So, in summary, Benediction's Ravage of Empires is a beast of an album that shows these veteran death metalers haven't lost their touch for brutality. It doesn't significantly reinvent the wheel, but it doesn't need to. Instead, it delivers a confident onslaught of old school death metal with modern clarity. Throughout this video, we've highlighted the album's strongest tracks, from the blistering opener, A Carrion Harvest, to the grinding weight of Crawling Over Corpses. These songs showcase the band's top-tier riffcraft, energy, and also dark atmosphere. The album flows well for the most part, though there are a couple moments where the momentum dips in my opinion. On the whole, the songwriting is solid. There's enough variety between outright speed fests and slower crushes to keep things interesting, even if the overall style stays within a safe lane. The lyrics stand out as especially grim and sinister, painting vivid scenes of horror and war that complement the heaviness, even if you might need the liner notes to catch all of Dave Ingram's words behind those barky growls. And speaking of Ingram, his vocals are both a strength and possible sticking point. He's consistently ferocious, but those who crave more dynamic or guttural vocal techniques might find his one-dimensional approach tedious after a little while. So let's break down the key positives and negatives. Let's look at the positives first. The production is excellent, heavy and clear, giving each instrument real impact. The riff work is killer, with no filler, with plenty of memorable hooks and headbanging worthy grooves. Benediction's commitment to the old school death metal roots will please longtime fans, and the sinister lyricism adds depth to the darkness. Many tracks have great energy and atmosphere, and the album's pacing, mixing fast and mid-tempo songs, keeps the experience from becoming monotonous. Let's look at the negatives now. The vocals can be hit or miss. While powerful, they rarely deviate from the same tone, which can make some songs blend together. There are a few filler tracks that don't land as hard. For example, Drought of Mercy comes off as a weaker link in my opinion, lacking the spark of the surrounding songs. Likewise, the brief Psycho Sister Psycho Sinister is fun but not particularly memorable. These weaker moments cause minor pacing issues in my opinion, as the album's intensity falters just a bit before the grand finale. A tad more variety, be it a standout guitar solo, a change of vocal style, or an experimental intro here and there, could elevate the album even further. In the end, Ravage of Empires is a solid death metal record that shows Benediction doing what they love and doing it well. It's not a revolutionary release, but it delivers the goods for fans of the band and the death metal genre, yet crushing riffs, authoritative growls, and that ominous war-torn atmosphere from start to finish. The highlights are strong enough that you'll be coming back for them. There's definitely some replay value here, especially for those days when you need an injection of pure old fucking school heaviness. I'd score this album around 75%, a strong effort with only a few missteps holding it back from elite status. If you're a Benediction fan or just crave some reliably brutal death metal with a slick modern punch, Ravage of Empires is well worth the ride. So fucking brace for impact, hit play and prepare to be blown away. This is one hell of a ravaging experience. So yeah, that's it for the review. Hope you guys enjoy it. Couldn't fit Benediction on Discovery because Discovery was absolutely packed. So I said, why not talk about Benediction on a single video? So let me know in the comments below what you thought about this album. Do you agree or disagree with my opinion? Keep discussion going in the comment section below. And I will see you in the next one.